Hello, hello. Sandy from ledouxdesigns. Tonight we're going to play with the Not Too Shabby new release by our friend Meg Brighter. This is her first stamp set released at Not Too Shabby. It's super cute. I've colored them all. And I can show you what they look like colored if you'd like to see. Hi, Kelly. So here's one of this one. Here's this one. And then there's this one. I'm about to give away how much I like these. And then there's this one, but I'll put it right side up. And then there's this one. And then there's this one, and then there's this one. I mean, so much fun I've had with these. So tonight we're going to play with this one, and we're going to build a background, so it's going to be really fun. Hi, Nancy. Welcome, welcome. These are the ones that I've colored so far, and tonight we're going to color one of the mermaids, and we're going to build a background for her. I feel like she was the most challenging one for me to color. Hey, Beth. So I thought since she was the most challenging for me, just figuring out all the little pieces and parts of it, and these ones were a little bit easier. So I'm going to do the more challenging one to help whoever bought the stamp set or is going to buy the stamp set color that one up as well. So those are the ones that I have. I also thought we may try to use this sentiment and maybe this little fish or maybe these little fish. I mean, these are just really super cute. So this little waves right here, it's really, really small. But when I did the kickoff to the new release, I put it at the bottom of his shorts to give him some design on his shorts. And you could use those little things on the surfboard or on their clothes just to decorate it up. There's also some palm trees or some flowers that you could use. You could use the fish or the little fish. So anyway, it's super cute. This is the die that works with all three of them. So you only need this one die and it cuts every single one of these out. Isn't that cool? I think that's really cool. I think it takes some good brain power to figure that out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started because I have, it's going to take a little bit to do the background as well. So let's go ahead and get started on her. I really, really like her. She's so cute. But when I first got her, I was like, I'm so confused, like what everything is in the image because it's different. So different than what I normally see. So we're gonna play with it tonight and I'm gonna show you how it all works out, and it's super cute when you get done. So maybe I'll even leave this one off to the side so you can kind of see it, even though we're not going to color it in these colors. We're going to use some different colors because I have a whole different background planned out. So we're going to get started with a bit of a regular skin tone. So I'm going to do my base coat. Hey, Beth, I don't see any comments. So if somebody could say something so I can make sure that they're working, I don't want to be missing out. That would be great. Okay, there we go. Cheryl, I can always count on you. I'm good. I'm good. All right. Look at that, everybody. And we even have some new people tonight. Well, like I said, I felt like this was the most challenging one. So these are her ears, but you could also make them like, fins or, stuff that might be on the side of her to help her swim or, whatever you want. But we're going to make them ears tonight. So she has those really water fishy type ears on her. So we're going to put the base coat on there. And this is E000. It's usually what I use for a base coat unless I'm doing a African American skin tone, and then I will use a darker color underneath, a darker peachy color underneath. So I'll have some of that different skin tone coming up very soon. It's already on the agenda. So probably going to be a week or two, but it's coming up, I promise. And then this part in here is also part of like her skin underneath the shells. And then over here is her arm. So we're just going to get all of the base coat in there. And I'm not set on colors, so if you guys want to see a different color or want me to switch it up, we can certainly do that. I'm also going to do this little spot in here. I feel like that's part of the skin as well, right there. But you could play this a couple of different ways if you wanted. You know, you can make that hair, or you can make it skin. It's kind of pretty easy for you to manipulate it a little bit, so it's whatever style you like. I also chose some different skin tone colors tonight. I'm gonna throw in as my dark color this E35 because, you know, you always see me do the regular ones, so let's mix it up a bit. So we're gonna put some shadow in here, and we need some in this ear. So just gonna put it inside and then just real close to her hair, but nowhere else. You love you some gnomes. I'm really getting addicted to them, I think. They're starting to grow on me for sure. Now, this dye that works on all of these, Meg has some classes too, and those are where she gives you a different type of gnome, and it works with the dye as well. So if you take her classes, you can get even more images digitally that work with the same dye, which is super cool. I like the idea. It's very creative. So we're going to put some up underneath this hair because it is covering her eyes, but that's a typical gnome thing that you don't, it kind of saves you. If you don't like doing eyes, gnomes are the way to go because you can't ever see their eyes. That makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to put just a little bit of shadow underneath her nose. I don't want to put too much because I don't want it to look like a mustache. And then I'm going to put some over here, but only where this hair appears to be lying over top of the nose. And then, of course, inside this area right here. And then wherever her hair is covering her arm. And then this little crab, he's really cute too. He's casting a bit of a shadow on her. So we're going to put a little bit there. I mean, like I said, I've colored these a few times, so I'm pretty good at knowing exactly what everything is. Unless, you know, I end up with one of those nights where I'm starting something and I've never colored it. Oop, you almost missed it, Meg. Welcome, welcome, Meg. And Jana, yay. Okay, I'm super glad you guys are hanging out with me. It's really awesome. So next week, I'm going to the Paper Ganza. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's the craft roulette, like in-person get-together. E13 is next. And I've been working on cards because we have to do like a card swap. And so I've been working on that in my spare time. But I'm not going to leave. I've decided not to leave on Tuesday, but to leave on Wednesday so we can still do our live next week. And then I will be gone on Thursday, but then I'll be back for the following week. But I didn't want you guys to miss two, so I decided to leave on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. So next week, Tuesday, we will still have a live. And I'm sure Dale would be happy to take over that for me, except I'm going to take him with me. So, yeah. You just got your gnomies? Oh, you can color with me. That's awesome. Now, I will upload this to YouTube after the live is finished. It usually takes a little bit. I schedule it so that I can make sure everything looks right and all the marker numbers are listed and the links and all that kind of stuff. So it'll probably post. I generally choose somewhere around 5 a.m. So it will be up by tomorrow. So if you have them and you're not coloring right now, you can definitely go back and look at it. Look at the video later. And if you want these, you need to grab them pretty quick because they're selling out super fast. If they're not already, are they already sold out, Meg? I need to know, because that's why I wanted to go ahead and get them colored in here today. This is R11. We're doing a bit of pink on her cheeks. I know that they're getting close and I don't want you to miss out on it. So if you want them, you'll want to grab them pretty quick. They are unsure if they will order another set. So if you want them, grab them. Okay, E11 is the one that I'm going to use to start blending this out a little bit. And then we just have one more color after this, and that will just be our highlight. So I'm going to leave the tips of her ears on the top open for the last color. And then over here, we're going to do this underside. And then we'll do a little bit, but we're going to leave some tips open for that lightest color on the tips of her ears. I think there are about 6 left. Oh yeah, sure, of course. Hopefully they're available tomorrow. It's payday. Yay! I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. But I know that they were going fast, and I was like, ooh, I better color them right away, or I'll be coloring them and then people will be sad that they can't get them. So, yeah, they're fun. And I have the perfect background. Like, I'm so excited about doing the background. I mean, it's a whole stencil thing. It's from another company, but I think that it works perfectly with this girl, so I am very excited about it. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. So if you can, stick around because you won't want to miss it. Hi, Susie. E00 is the last color, and I'm just going to use that to finish, you know, blending the mix and adding the highlight just around those edges, because I used the previous color, you know, to kind of make sure that my blending was really good. So this is really strictly just my highlight color. And I don't want to lighten up those cheeks. I really want her to have those really cute pink cheeks. Even if I need to, I would go back in and like deepen it up. But for right now, I'm feeling pretty good about the color we have. But this is fun. And then just to let you guys know, the new release is ETA for us, August 1st. It's going to be great. And there was a slight delay. I wanted to do it a little bit sooner, but I had a typo on one of the sentiments, and I've had to have them do a correction sentiment, so it's taking just a little bit longer. So be patient with me. It's that whole you, your, you are, you, Y-O-U-R. I had the wrong one on there, so. This is the E13, and I'm just going strictly in with E13 for this part right here because I feel like it's pretty shadowed up in there. So I'm just going to use this one color to deepen that up. There we go. Yeah, these are really cute. Okay. So now we have skin. I think I am going to grab my R11 one more time and just put a teeny bit more of this pink right up here on her nose, just to give her that really pinky. I mean, she's going to be on the beach, like she came out of the water, just came out of the water to, like, I don't know, either put the crab back on the beach or take him off the beach. I'm not really sure which. So she can have a little bit of sun on her cheeks. Maybe she's just playing on the beach with the cute little crab because he is really cute. We'll have to see when we get our beach done what we think. But at least that makes her cheeks a little bit more pink, and I like that. It's more pink than this one, but this one's super cute too. Okay, so for colors, her hair. I was trying to decide what color hair. And we have some options. We could do, I have blue, red, and orange pulled out. I decided to do orange for you, borrowing my husband's card as soon as the live is done. You love this story. So I was thinking maybe we could do blue hair, or we could do orange hair. I mean, you guys tell me, which one of them do you want me to do on the hair? Yeah, those are the colors I have pulled. Not that I need to use those. I don't have to use those colors, but just, you know, I thought maybe we'd do the hair blue. What do you guys think? Does that sound good? Oh, you want to do it orange? Let's do it orange. I mean, we don't do orange hair very often, so let's do it. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So whenever I do orange, I like to pull in something a little bit darker than my darkest orange. So in this case, I usually use YR18, but I'm going to use this combo this time, which is YR09, 07, and 04. Hey, Mamacita. And then I'm going to throw in this YR27. It's kind of a yellowy orange, but I like the deep tone that it gives to it. So let me just show you real quick on this little swatch I have here. So we'll put that one down first, and then we'll go over it with this YR09, and then when we come out, see how it does that that deeper tone for us, and I like that. So that's what we're going to use tonight, because we're going to need that deep for her hair. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start with our YR27. This is Tuscan orange, so it is kind of orange anyway. And her hair, you can do it any way you want, but I always talk about following like the artist drawn lines. So we're going to keep that hair going back and forth because that's the way that she has it styled. And then this hair down here will go up and down. But I wanted to point out that this cute little bun she has in her hair, I'm not really sure exactly what you call that, a shell or whatever, but it's really cute. But when I first colored this, I missed that this part right here was all hair as well. So we're going to go ahead and get a little bit of that colored in so I don't forget to color that this time. Last time I got all done and then I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? And then I was like, oh, now I got to go find my colors all over again. And so it was fun, but this girl is going to be so happy hanging out on the beach. I would love to go to the beach. I think it would be fun. So I'm just following those lines for right now, putting that depth in there. And this part right here, I'm not really going to put any there. I want to put it more in this fold that she has in her hair. And then I like to put just a few off of that on the inside here. I'm going to actually follow this almost all the way around just because I want to keep some depth in this part as well. And then under here, there's another fold right here. And then because this is the bottom part of her hair, I'm going to put a little bit along the bottom as well. And then this cute little piece right here over her nose, we're going to put a little bit there. Now I'm going to come from the other side and do some of those artist lines. Going that way and this way. And we do have to have a little bit here, but I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm just going to do a few of my own little strokes right over there, just so we can start building that together. Sea urchin, that's it. Or a barnacle, it could be that too. But I guess since Meg drew it, it probably is a sea urchin. There's so many amazing things in the ocean. I have been watching, it's Shark Month. It used to be called Shark Week, but I just call it Shark Month because I love sharks. And I've been watching all of the shark shows, and there are so many amazing things in the ocean that we've never seen unless you've seen them on TV, but you just don't see them in the wild, and it's amazing. I also watched all the Jaws movies because, you know, you kind of have to do that too. So over here, there's like a little bead right there, and I'm going to use that as though it's like a pearl in her hair. So I'm not going to put any color on that right now. And then I'm just following these around, keeping some of that depth. Whatever's real close to her head will definitely be darker. And so now we have some of that hair and all of our deep dark areas in there. Now, when I showed the sample, I told you I'm going to go over it and extend with this one. That way it moves from the brownish color back into like really an orange color. So we're going to start over here, just where we started before, and we're just going over the YR27 and then extending. So this part's going to stay really dark over there in the corner. And then I'm going to go over this and then extend. So see how it's now going to change that color to orange? That's what I really want, because I really want this to be a bright orange. Meg likes orange and purple, so I wanted to do orange tonight since I do purple all the time. And then I'm going to do these lines that I put in there. I'm going to go over them and extend just a little bit further. But I'm going to do it real careful and kind of slow, just because I want to make sure I get those notated there. Then we're going to go over this and extend up. So I'm really following along and overlapping that color and extending, because I really want that color to stay orange. Otherwise, you could leave the brown a little bit if you wanted to, but I want mine to look more orange. Still going to swim with the sharks. Oh, I want to swim with the sharks too. I really do. I watched this special they have on like Netflix or whatever of this lady who, they call her like the shark whisperer or something like that. I watched her show. She swims with all the sharks. And she's not even scared. She said they can sense fear, so you have to be careful. My only problem is I cannot, I am not good in the ocean. Like, I don't know how many of you have tried to do snorkeling or scuba diving or anything like that. I want to scuba dive really badly, but I kind of can't because I hyperventilate when I jump in the water, and that would just mess up my breathing tank. So I'm not sure I can get over that. I guess I have a fear that I don't realize I have until I jump into the ocean. But on Dale and I's honeymoon, every single time I jumped into the water, I hyperventilated. Every single time. I had to wear a life jacket to make it stop. And you can't do that when you're scuba diving. So yeah, there's that. This is YR07, which is a much brighter color. But I'm going to leave all this over here pretty dark. And I'm just extending out, but I'm not going over the whole color. I'm just picking up from kind of from where I left off and extending, because I don't want this to look like all one color. So you got to put some different layers in there, which is what we're doing right now. And then a little bit down here, but not much. We'll save that last color for the tips and to keep her hair bright and shiny and pretty. Growing up, I was a swimmer, and now I just can't. Oh, wow. Really? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was. I was so excited to go, loved it, wanted it, put all the gear on. We went over the side of the raft, and I started freaking out. They had to throw me a life jacket because I was like, it was very sad. But I still got to do it, and it was still fun, and I enjoyed it, but I sort of felt like after that I wasn't going to be able to scuba dive. I would love to scuba dive though. I think it would be amazing, and especially if you could do it with sharks. Oh, amazing. So this is my YR04, and I'm just filling in the white areas with this color, and it's light enough that it really shows that difference in color. So you can see that it's so pretty. I really like it. Orange hair. I haven't done orange hair in a really long time, but I love it. So we're gonna leave these oranges out because you just never know. Sometimes I like to throw them back in there somewhere. And I think I want to use red and blue. So I only have 2 reds pulled, but I'll probably add to that. So right now I have R29 and R17. And for the blues, I have more like an ocean type blue, or as this one says, peacock blue or Tahitian blue or whatever they say, robin's egg, B060402. And I might add more colors, but I'll let you know if I do that. But I want to do, I want to start with her mermaid tail and body being the B06. So what I'm going to do, oh, I missed a little bit of hair. Hold tight. I missed a strand of hair right here. There we go. All right. I saw it, had to get it. Okay, so you can do mermaid scales in a lot of different ways. But for this one, because a lot of the tail is underneath her and you can't really see it, what I was thinking that we would do is we would add, like, I wonder what would happen if we used the orange under there. So let's see what would happen if we used, like, let's say our YR09. If we put, like, if we did the dots in the YR09 and then went over it with our blue, probably by the time I went over it, it would probably be with this B04. So let's see. Oh, it's going to be great. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of orange in here because I like her hair to match a little bit of her scales and stuff too. So you could do scales, or you could do dots, or you could do whatever you want. It's your mermaid. You could even put a pattern, a design, whatever you want on your girl. And I'm not going to fill the whole thing in with the little dots and scales, just around the edges and a little bit up the middle. And then this side over here is part of her tail as well. I'm going to put a few in there, not that people will really notice that because it's such a small area, but I want there to be a few of these along the sides of her tail. So I'm just going to place a few of them in there like that. Mermaid Gnome, adorable. I know, right? It's so unique. That's what I like about it. Here's my B06. So this is my darkest B, and what I'm going to do is add a few in the B06 as well. So we're kind of doing a little bit of a mix here, and I'm okay with that. I just want it to be a little, I just want you guys to see different ways that you can do this. You can do it as simple as you want, or you can do it as elaborate as you want. It's all up to you. But I know that there were some other videos of people coloring them, so I'm just trying to come up with something a little bit unique so you guys feel like you get to learn something from the technique. So, and then I'm going to go along her hair and up the tail right here. I'm gonna go just along her hair like that. And then I want to put a little bit up in here where her tail is going over. The edge of her tail is going over her mermaid tail. Mermaid tail, 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 tail. It's a lot of tails. And then I'm going to go right here and underneath her arms. I'm going to put some shadow in there. And over here on this side as well. And then right here in the middle underneath her and the crab, we're going to put a little bit of that dark color. I'm not going to put it along the bottom yet. We're going to wait for the next color for that. But look at how those colors mix together. It's so cool. And really, you can try any color you want for mixing it up. B04. Tell us a tale, Sandy. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. I want to go in the ocean. I want to be a mermaid. I'm going to go along the edges. But I'm going to do it very light because I don't want to cover up all my orange. So I'm going to extend where I put it up here. There'll be stories when I start doing the background. I guarantee it. I'm going to put a little bit inside the claw area. And then I'm going to fill in some on this side part of her body. And then we're going to start extending from where we put this original color here. Just blending that out a bit. And if we have to later, we can come back in and add a little bit more orange. But for right now, we're going to stick with what we got. There we go. So cute. This is going to be really nice, I think. I'm excited about it. Maybe we'll even add a little bit of that YR04 in here. I don't know. We'll see. We might, because that might be pretty cool. So this is the B02. This is the lightest color. So I'm just making sure those blends look really good. Not filling it all the way in because I do want to come in with that orange color. So we're going to be mixing the orange colors as well. Usually I do her shells in the other color, but tonight I feel like mixing it up. I'm just feeling very, what's the word I always used when I was younger? I would always say, I'm feeling very spunky. So I just want to play around with these colors. But usually I would do all one color and then the tail and the shells a different color or a mixture of those colors. I want to see if this one's going to be light enough for me or if I want to go maybe to YR02. So let's see what we think. Yeah, I think I want to go to YR02. So I'm going to take this YR02 and I'm going to mesh it in with that B. I think that's perfect. I'm a librarian. I love a tall tail. That's awesome. I think a librarian, it would be fun to be a librarian. Do you get to do like kids reading sessions and stuff like that? That would be so fun to me. I love reading to Cooper. Look at that. She almost looks like she has all the ocean colors right on her. And then I'm going to take the B02 and I'm going to work a little bit back and forth so I can get those colors to blend together nicely and not overpower one another. So I'm going to kind of leave them both open for just a second so I can blend them together right here where they meet up so they look natural. There we go. Perfect. We'll close this one up for now. I don't like leaving my markers open. It's just a me thing. And then I'm going to start putting in some of this orange in the tail. A little bit here, a little bit here. It's going to look a little funny at first, and then we're going to open that other marker and blend them together. So this is B02 and YR02. So we're just working that little line where I put that orange, and we'll come back again with the orange and soften it up. Because you can kind of work them together and get this really natural look. And if you feel like when you're doing it, it's too dark, then you can always pick the next color up. Summer reading program. Today was Harry Potter Day. Awesome. You know, my daughter told me my grandson is reading Harry Potter and he's only 7. But I guess he wanted to read Harry Potter, so they went in on it, and that's what he's reading. I want to deepen this little area one more time, so I'm coming back in with the B06. Just kind of darkening that up just a little bit. And then we'll soften that out with B04 and we'll be done. Perfect. The back and forth of the orange caused us to lose some of this depth, so I'm just going back in and bringing that back to life. There we go. I like that. Very cool color combo. You like it? I like it too. I think it looks cool. I'm very happy. And with her hair and everything, it's really cute. And since we used a lot of orange in her hair and on her outfit, I think we're gonna do her tail with blue without the orange. That way it will offset the balance of the orange and blue. So I'm going to grab one a little bit darker than the colors we're using. So I'm going to add B18. Yes, Harry Potter. He loves to read. I mean, she read to him every day when he was little for years. And he is just loves to read. So I'm really proud of her. So I'm going to come in here with this B18. And I'm just going to put some deep shadows in this part that's folded over. So, because you'd really be seeing the top and the tail, like you'd be seeing both places, so it would have to be darker up there. And I think we're going to use this color on her shells as well. So I put some in the tail, and now I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to do these lines in the shells. And like I said, if you're not used to coloring and you feel like these are tiny spaces or whatever, you can certainly make them all one color. You do not have to, you know, do all of the fancy stuff to start out with until you get used to it. And then challenge yourself and you'll be super happy with your results. B06 is our next color, so I'm going to extend out from where I stopped on the B18. And the B18 is a little bit more blue than this like peacock ocean type bluish color. And then I'm also going to come along the edge of this side of the tail. Just so we don't lose sight of where that folds over on her body. Because she's just showing off her tail. Not really sure that sounded all that great, but you guys know what I mean. You love the dark blue? Yeah, it kind of needed a little bit of that. So I'm going to do the same thing with the shells down here. I'm just going to put a little bit of this blue along the edges at the top of the shell. But I don't want them to meet up with the really dark color that's already on there. And then we're going to flip to our next one, which is B04. If you make library stamps or book-related stamps. Yes. Yes. I have one in digital form right now. It's an owl sitting on a stack of books, which I really like that image. It's fun to color, and but it looks kind of scholastic, like you could use it for like a graduation or something. It's not real kiddie like for the young ones, but maybe we'll color that sometime too with the books, so we can talk about how we color the books and what colors to choose for that. Okay, coming around and just extending on those shells. So see, the shells will stand out as well. And then the last color is B02. And I'm going to do a little bit of back and forth just to fill in the part that's not filled in. The part that's still white. And I am going to show you how super fast this is to cut out with that die cut. It's going to be awesome. So there's her. She is holding a crab, yes. And we're going to color that next. But we're going to color the crab, and then we're going to color this part up here, the little urchin in her hair, in the same color as our crab. So now I am blending the tips of these into that light blue as well. Trying to leave his little eyes alone, but when we put the white gel pen on his little eyes, you'll see them. They're a little hard to see if you color it in dark, but you'll see the crab's eyes. Yes, she is holding a crab, and it's super cute crab. So that's the one that we're going to use these red colors that I had pulled out. So I think I may need one more, but when we get to that point, we'll see if we need it or not. So I have R29 is the first color that I have. So I'm going to put it around her hands and the bottom of the crab, like where his smile is. And then he has these two little parts right there that are under her hands. And then I'm going to put just right here where the pinchers are, the darkest color. And I think it's kind of small enough that we'll probably just be able to use two colors and we should be good. Oh, I should do this part up here as well. So I'm going to put the darkest color right in the center of that, and then I'm going to start coming down each side where the lines are to kind of accentuate those lines. And then I also want to go along the bottom right here. Since we're only using two colors, I'll use this one for both. Then I have R17 next. And this is where we're going to start finishing up our little crab. So this color is much lighter than the other color. So it kind of fills in our little crab. He does have little like antennas right there, but you can't really see them all that well. I'll go over them just to make them a little darker, but there's his eyes. And then his little pinchers right here, which he won't do to her because he likes her. And then we're going to do this part up here, and I don't want to blend too much because I want you to be able to see the difference in the two colors. It does kind of blend with her hair. I kind of like that. I'm happy with that. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is there's little fish around here. And I am just going to make them in a yellow color because I feel like yellow will go really well with this. So I'm just going to put one color, YR23, on these little fish because they're tiny. But they're cute. They're just hanging out. They're going to be drowning. They're going to be dying with no water if they're on the beach. But maybe they can do both. You never know. They can hang out with her on the outside and on the inside. I need to put a little bit of color over here because I never did blend that part out. So there we go. And then for the water droplets, I'm going to go with B52. And I'm just going to do them all one color because I'm going to add the white gel pen to them when I get to that point. And that will make them look a little bit more like water. So for now, these are such small areas, you probably won't see a whole lot, but we're going to put it in there anyway, just in case. And then this necklace right here. Oh, we got one more, hold on. I'm going to use the white gel pen for that as well. And I'll show you what that's like, but we can't do that before we die cut it out or we'll smear the color. So I always keep my old, this one is really old, but I always keep my little washi tape when I'm going to die cut stuck to my desk. And then I just use the same piece until it falls apart. Sounds kind of crazy. But you'll see how it just this die cut just sits right over top, and it fits on every single one of them, which is super cool. And then I just stick this on there, and then I can even show you the die cutting. Let's see if we can zoom out a bit so you can see a little better. I'm gonna have to cut this off a little bit because it won't go through my little bitty machine. This is my baby machine, my mini maker. And then I just layer it up like this, and I just run it through here, and then we'll be done. Super fast, but very squeaky. It's a very squeaky machine, but it works so good, I can't give it up. So I will be using that squeakiness for a very long time. Then I peel this off, and yes, I am going to save it because it didn't fall apart yet. It's close, but not there. I got a new cutter. That's the one that I've had for a little while. But yes, it is newer than that other one. I couldn't find the replacement plates for the other one, so I had to get a different one. And there she is, all done. Cut out super fast. If you get this, there's also like a coupon for the class that's coming up. There's a coupon code on there, and because she has the candy gnome coming up. So if you buy the die, you can use the coupon. All right, I also have this cute little fish and this mermaiding thing that we are going to color super fast, and we're going to keep it all in the same colors. So what I'm going to do is keep it a blue tail so it kind of matches her stuff that she already has. So we'll do blue on the actual tail part and orange on these little scales that are hanging off of it. So that is my plan, and it won't take long because it's just a very small part. But I do want to color it because that makes it more fun. All right, and then we're gonna stick with the same color for the yellow for the fish. So we're gonna kind of keep all the color patterns going the way that we intended for them to be. We're going to do everything the same. That way we don't have to add any more markers. You can use this limited amount of markers. You know, I love that cutter. I did get a new cutter. I think it's Spellbinders had it or somebody. I don't know. I got it at an expo. When I was there, they had it really inexpensive. And I was like, I'll take it. I'll take it right now. Okay, we're going to use YR09 against the edge and in between the little scales that are on her tail. So, right up next to the blue. And then on the side where the scales laying on the other one. So like that. All the way up. And then the tips will be the dark color too. Then I'm just going to skip the YR07. I'm going to go straight to the YR04. And I'm just going to fill the rest of this in. This is just quick. The eyes are really going to be on the mermaid, not on the sentiment as much, so we can just do that kind of quick. We might as well add a little bit down here. I think these are supposed to be the waves, but how fun is that? All right, and then for our heart, because, you know, I can't let the heart go without coloring it, so we're just going to use the same red colors that we used on the crab. Ta-da! Okay, now we have a fancy sentiment. And then our fish, we're going to use that YR27 that we used in her hair. I'm going to do his little lips. And then I'm going to do his little his scales on top. I'm going to do this little fin right here. And then I'm going to do the inside part of his tail. Right here. I mean, he's so tiny that you don't have to do a whole lot, but I am going to do a few little dots in there. And then we'll come in with this YR23 that we used for the little mini fish on her. And we'll finish it up with this one. This one will make it look a little more yellow than orange. So I'm just blend that out and put that color in. That's it. I just really want to use him. I want him to be jumping out of the water in the background of the beachy scene that we're going to do. Hey, Beth. You love these stamps? They're so cute, aren't they? And they're super fun. Like we're having a big old story time and celebration with these little guys. Now I have to cut this out. It's so tiny, but it's really not hard. Like I've already cut it out like a whole bunch of times. I could have cheated by coloring it the same color as I colored the other ones and then just said, wow, look, it's already cut out. But I didn't do that. And I didn't figure you would be able to see anything I was doing if I cut it out before the live because it's so tiny. I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to see because my big fat fingers would be trying to hold on to it while I was coloring it. So we'll cut that tail part off. And we just come around and just wiggle it a little bit right here, back and forth, so it looks like it has little scale, little fish scales going on there. And we just come around the front and bang, all done. Okay, so that one is done. That was super fast. I don't mind cutting out those little bitty things. Okay. Now, I have a bunch of oxides for this next step. So this is the mermaid I did before. This is ours for tonight. And we have this matching sentiment. I'm not sure how I want to cut that out till we finish with what we're going to do. But I want to build this background that I have. So I have this stencil set from the Ton. It's called the Ton. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but it's called the Ton. And on the back, when you get these, by the way, that's where you can find it, the tonstamps.com. I bought it a while ago, but I love it. And she gives you a paper to tell you that you need 3 green colors, 3 blue colors, 2 gray colors, and 1 brown. So I've already pulled those out. And then she tells you which stencil, what you color, and how you color it. So that should be fairly easy. We should be able to do that. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stencils, and they're numbered. So there's a number when you hold it to the side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but see that number right there? There's the 1. And then this one has the 2. Can you see it on there? Let me see if I can hold it so you can see it. Yeah, there's the 2. And it also says light green. So it has some details written right on the die. This one says sand tan. So it kind of walks you through the steps. So it's pretty easy to do, but we're going to do that. What scissors do I use? I use these and these. So these were Crafter's Companion scissors that were given to me by someone who knew I loved purple. And then I needed another pair because, you know, one's just not enough. So I got these from Spellbinders. These are my favorite small scissors, and these are my favorite big scissors, and they are both Spellbinders. See that? These are some amazing scissors. They stay very sharp, and I like them a lot. Right now, currently, they are my favorite scissors. I'm going to grab my sticky mat so that it'll hold the stencils and all the stuff down. This is the same type of sticky mat that I have inside my Misty to hold my stamps. It is also from the Waffle Flower, which I use a lot. So there it is. It's kind of messy, but still works. even when it gets dirty. But it holds your stuff down when you're oxiding. So it sticks to my desk so it doesn't move, see? And then I get to stick my paper directly on top of that. I bent my paper, so we're gonna pick up another one because I don't want to start with the bent paper. How terrible would that be? So then your paper sticks, and now you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to tape it down or anything, because when you're doing this stencil, you don't want to miss any of the edges. Like, it doesn't give you a whole lot of edges. So you want to be real careful with what you're doing. Okay, so it says you do want to lay it in the same place every time you do it, right? So we need to decide if we're going to do it down low or if we're going to do it up high, because this paper is already sized for the card. So I think I'm going to do it just like this.
You need to grab the stencil guides to help you.
Yep, I'm going to. I'm going to grab them right now. Do you know where they are?
You had it with all your little stuff.
What?
You had it by all your little stuff. By your stencil, or by your embellishments.
Hold, please. I'm looking for my... Oh, I really want to use them. Are they in my drawer? Do you know? Did you use them when you did the live the other day, Dale? No? All right, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to find these stencil guides, and what they do is they help me put the stencil down in the right spot every single time. I have to move these markers out of the way. I know I had them in here. Do, 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 do. Should I do that sound you do when you're watching a game show and everybody's just kind of hanging out waiting for it to happen? Honey, I don't see them in here. Did you see them the other day?
No, I just know that I've seen them on the desk.
Well, bummer, because I really want to use them. All right, one more look up here. All right, I'm sorry I didn't have this part planned out before we started. I know I'll find it right after the live, because that's the way life rolls.
Yeah, I mean, you use a bunch of different stuff right here.
I know, but it's not there.
In the dish.
I know it's not in the dish because it doesn't fit in the dish anymore. I don't know where it is. So I guess we're going to have to roll without it. Dang it. I really wanted to use those. Oh, I wonder if they're in here. See, now he brought it up and I'm determined. I'm like on a mission to find them, and they are not here. So we are going to have to roll without them. But anyway, they're acrylic. Oh, I bet I know where they are. I bet they're in one of these drawers right here. I have 3 of them on my little thing on my desk, and I bet they're in there. Haha, there they are. Okay, so I have these little acrylic thingies. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Beth. You can use a sticky mat. Yeah, in your Misty. I love it. That's how I have mine. So Dale made these, and they're corner. They mark the corner. So they're made out of acrylic, and when you place them down, you place them right on the edge of whatever your stencil is, and that way every single time you place that stencil down, you're going to place it in the right spot every single time. So he even put ledouxdesigns on it. He's so funny. Here we go. That way I'll know where to put it. And he also made straight ones in case you were doing them like that. So I'm just going to place this one at the bottom just to make sure everything stays where I want it to. And they stick to the mat as well. Yay. We found them, guys. We found them. Okay. So I'm just following these I'm assuming they go in the order that it says. I think I've done this once before, but it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So I don't really remember, but I do know that she still does have this stuff. So it says for stencil 1, the top half is light blue. So for light blue, I picked Speckled Egg. I hope that's the right kind of light blue. I was really winging it, you guys. I wasn't even paying much attention. I was just choosing colors at random. So this is Speckled Egg. That's the one we're going to start with. And then I have a brush for all of them. So there's my Speckled Egg brush. And it says, put the light blue up here. And then the tan goes in this area right here. So we're going to keep the light blue up here, the top. So we don't have to press hard because it is a little bit delicate. But as long as you have enough ink on your brush, it should just smoothly go over top of the... And it's going to build the scene as we go. So... The only place you want to be really careful when you do something like this is when you get to this part that's supposed to be tan. So I don't trust myself tonight because I'm feeling really spunky. So I'm just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm going to actually put the tape on there so I don't color in the wrong area. So I just have some washi tape here that I'm going to use. And I always put it on my hand once first so it doesn't stick to my paper. And I'm just going to stick that there so I don't go over my area. Clearly I used this before because my little stencil's a little beat down. Okay, so now we have our light blue. Next it says lower half is tan. So we're going to switch to the tan color I chose. Will they be in the shop? Lining things up is not my favorite. Yes, they could be in the shop. That is for sure. Dale, you're going to make them for the shop or line up things because people need them. He said he'll put it on the list. This is antique linen, which is what color I chose to go with for my light tan. You can choose whatever color you like, but I just, randomly picking colors. And I'm not sure. I think I'm not supposed to be coloring that. I think I'm only supposed to be coloring this part, but because it's outlined in there, it just says like this. Do this part down here and this part up here. So I don't think I'm supposed to do this part. So I'm just going to skip that for now. And if we have to put it back on and do that part, we can. But for now, I'm going to skip it. Because I think I remember I'm supposed to skip that area. It's supposed to be water, I guess. Maybe I should have that blue. Dale, do you remember? We did these together, didn't we? I haven't done this in so long. But I think this is water. So I'm just going to roll with it. And if it doesn't work out, well, hey, we'll just go with what we got. So I'm going to put the light blue down here as well. Just for the heck of it. Why not? Maybe that'll put our mermaid in the ocean instead of in the sand. We'll see. Who knows? I'm okay. I'm okay. There we go. 2 colors down. Next, it's time to lift up the stencil and put number 2. So I'm just going to pick up the stencil with my tweezers that I have. And we're going to set that aside so Dale can clean it. I'm going to stick number 2 in here. See how it lines up? It just sits right back in there like it was before. And then it says, for stencil 2, it's light green. So for light green, I chose the Twisted Citron. And then here's my brush for that one. So now everywhere that it's open, we're going to put this twisted citron in there. I mean, I think this stencil is fun. And you really could make it any color you want, because you can make it like sunset or, you know, sunrise. You could do it in purples. You could do it in reds. Or you could do it like, you know, we're doing it right now in the colors they recommend. But you could really make the scene look pretty awesome. But when I was thinking about this little gnome mermaid, I was like, this stencil would be great for this. Okay, now we're going to peel that one up. And we're going to move to the next one. It's number 3. So not too hard. See how it's starting to come together a little bit already? We're going to stick this one in there. Lines it all up for us. Did I lay that one on there right? I feel like I laid that one up. Nope, it's right. Okay, number 3 says mid-tone green. Okay, so for mid-tone green, I chose Mowed Lawn. So we're gonna grab our Mowed Lawn brush. Now we're gonna start filling in these parts. So they're going to go over top some of the light colors and make it a little bit darker. That's why you start with the light and then build on top of it. So you don't want to go real dark with the first colors that you use when it says it's light, because then it'll be harder to put the darker color over it. And it doesn't have to be oxides. Like, you can use any inks with this, whatever works for you. Because I know that the Time uses their inks, and you guys know I've told you I don't have any colored inks. So right here where this line is, it says this part right here should be the mid blue. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do this in green, and we're not going to do this part. So I am going to, for now, tape this stuff off a little bit so I don't mess it up. And if I get a little bit in the blue watery part, then, you know, it'll just be a little muddy there. Water will be a little muddied up. So you can just move that piece of tape around. It doesn't have to be perfect. So there we go. And we have the green, and then it says mid-tone blue. So green gets put away. And mid-tone blue is Salty Ocean. Conveniently Salty Ocean. Grab my Salty Ocean brush. And then I'm going to put this like kind of over this, because I don't really want to color over that. I think I can handle staying off of this one over here, so I think I'm okay with that. Pretty easy. Just kind of going back and forth so I don't bend the stencil. I mean, most of the time I like to go in a circular motion, but I don't want to bend this stencil, so I'm trying to go back and forth instead. Because there's some very fine areas in this stencil. Okay, you guys ready to see what this one did? Now, if we were doing the rocks, we'd have to do light gray, but we don't really have enough room on the paper to do that, except this one teeny tiny little corner, which I don't think we really need it on. But if we wanted to, we could. It's lost shadow, so I'll do it just so we don't have a white space on our card. It'll be this one. Not that you can really see lost shadow all that much. It's kind of a gray color, but it's really, really light. Then we're gonna lift this up. You guys ready? You ready? You ready? each time you lift it up, it looks even better and better. It's kind of exciting. Ta-da! Looking better. Okay, next one is number 4. We only have 5 stencils. So this is number 4. I'm gonna press that along the edges. See how easy it is to line it up when you put these on there? It's amazing. Now it says my next color is gonna be dark green at the top and dark gray at the bottom. And I don't think I picked a dark gray, so could you grab a dark gray for me, honey? I only picked Lost Shadow and it's really light. So if you could just grab one for me, that would be great. Now I need my dark green, which I picked Rustic Wilderness for that one. And that one should be significantly darker. So here we go. See how much darker that is? So it's really gonna stand out on those trees. There we go. And then we also need to do these parts of the trees over here. So just these 2 little sections right there. And then I think this part is separate. It's separated right there and it says dark gray. So I think that's all we need for the green. I mean, you can see the lines on the stencil. And if you go to a craft show and they're there, sometimes they do these samples out so you can play around with them. Did you pick old paper for me? Okay, Dale picked old paper for my gray, for my dark gray. Okay, here we go. We're doing it. I want to make sure. This says dark blue should be in here. Dark gray is on this stone down here. So I guess that's not really helpful, is it? It says right here, it says dark blue. So we're gonna pull the dark blue, which is Uncharted Mariner. And I don't even know if that's how you say it, but that's how I'm saying it right now. And where is, there it is. So there's my blue one. I mean, it does, yeah, okay. I'm just rolling with it. I'm not gonna ask any questions. If you get done and you realize, oh, I wish I would have had this color there or that color there, you can change it on your next go round. These are just the recommended colors.
That's what I did with that shoreline in the back. It was just like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, Dale changed his shoreline when he did it, but I can't remember what we did with that because it's been so long. Dark green, dark blue, dark gray. Okay, so we're done with that one. You guys ready? 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 This is my favorite part is, woohoo! Look at that. One more to go. Ah, isn't it beautiful? Yep. So now we're going to do brown so that we can get our brown in here on our tree and everything. So for brown, I chose Gathered Twigs. This takes all the thinking out of it. I love that. I like the don't have to think about it. So this is Gathered Twigs, and I'm just going to add that in here. This is for the stem or the trunk of the tree. And then I think some of this is like sand in between, like the ocean area, if you will, the beachy area. So maybe our mermaid is going to be just barely on the, she's going to be right there by the edge of the beach. I think that's all. And you can make it bigger because there's more space that you're not even seeing because I made it the smaller piece. And that's our last one. So here we go. Ta-da! Isn't that beautiful? So what Dale was saying was for this part back here, he changed that to brownish color so it looked like mountains rather than water. And it looks really good. So, it's whatever you want. But I thought this would look great with our mermaid, so I was super excited about it. Dale, can I give you these pieces? Since they have to be here. There's not enough room on my desk for all this stuff. There we go. Okay, so isn't that gorgeous? I love it. Now let's see. Here's our little mermaid. Oh my goodness. She's gonna be so cute on there. We need to pick our card base as well. But look, I wanted to put this little fish jumping out of the water because I just thought the little fish was super cute. Like he's jumping out. And then I thought we could use this as our sentiment at the top. So I'm going to cut that out real quick. And I'm going to cut it out like, you know how I do. Just, you know, do a few little indentions, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Just as long as you got a little bit of that wiggly going on, nobody's going to notice. I'm going to be so mesmerized by the mermazing scene we have going on here. Around that, I cut off that excess real quick, and then I'm going to come around here, and I don't do it like, I don't spend a lot of time like focusing on it, just as long as you get like, you know, some wiggly look to it. It looks like it was cut that way on purpose. So the only ones who know it's just a wiggly fun thing is those that are watching me. Otherwise, they don't even know. I just giving my secrets away. So you guys can do it too. Just along this side of the tail, and then come around and just finish the M part. Ta-da! That's all we have to do. Ta-da! Super fast. Now we can put this up here. How cute is that? Oh my goodness. Super cute. Now we need a card base. So I'm going to grab one. This is going to be so cute. I'm excited. I'm kind of thinking maybe we should stick with the blue, but I don't know if I have any blue card bases that are dark enough. I kind of want it to be a little bit darker than, and I think this one is a little bit off color. Yep. So maybe we'll go with more of a green, or we could go orange because her pretty hair is orange. Look, we could go orange like that. It's so cool. Doesn't it make the trees pop with the orange? I think I like the orange. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Or we could go with a tan, I guess. Nah, sticking with the orange. Decision made. Orange it is. So I always have my card bases already ready for me. They're already scored and cut because that helps me do them a little bit faster. And then I already have usually the insides and already pre-cut, so I can just put them on there super fast. So you guys don't have to wait for me to cut all that up. I'd rather be spending my time showing you cool coloring or cool, you know, stenciling or something like that than to spend my time cutting the paper. I don't know why this glue is, oh, there it goes. I was like, I don't know why I had the top on it, but it had this little, I'm going to pick it off of there. I had this little clump up in there. Remove my rubber ducky. Here we go. I'm going to place that on there. I'm going to use my soda press to push that down. Our card's gonna go this way, so I'm gonna stamp the back with my words, and then I'll sign it, because you should always sign your work so everyone knows who did it, in case somebody wants to ask you to make them one. You never know. Then we're gonna put this one down. Isn't this a cute card? And it really wasn't that hard to do. And the stamps are adorable. Stencil is fun. Just a fun night. And then I always flip it over when I press it because, you know, it's Oxides and I just finished and I don't want to mess anything up. And then flip it back over and it's all pressed on there the way I want. Oh, see, you liked orange too. Yay! And then I'm going to take my girl, my little mermaid gnome, and I'm going to place her on my card. And I want her to be over here because I want you to still be able to see. And this way, she's kind of out of the water, but the fish don't look silly on land. So it worked out perfectly.
There wasn't a color for the sun, you just left it white.
Yeah, there wasn't a color for it. Should there be one? You want me to color it? Does it make it better if it's a yellow sun? I guess you could have done it. It didn't say anything about it, so.
Yeah, I just see the mask, but I don't see
Look, it's yellow now. Gosh, I love my Copics. And this fish, I have to use this fish because it's so stinking cute. I think this fish would go really good with the little fisherman gnome. But I like it so much, I wanted it on this card as well. Because it's just so cute. But it does look a little bit like, you can make it look like he's pulling the fish out of the water on the hook for the fisherman. I think it'd be really neat. But, you know, we're having such an, she's having such an amazing day. The fish are even jumping out of the water. See, I told you she was going to have a lot of fun today. A little crooked. There we go. Better? So pretty. Let's see what bling we have, because you know I can't go without bling. Let's see, let's see. I like my little dish of bling. Maybe I want to use these colors. This is kind of a yellowish color. Ooh, yeah, that's going to be great. And then I can put a few of them on here. And they would be cute. I only need 3, I think. So that would be just enough to make it mermazing. So let's put just a little bit of glue on here.
Resin dots that are in the shop.
Yep, those are the resin dots that Dale makes, hand makes at the house that are in the shop. I can't seem to pick them up because I don't have the right tweezers, maybe. Yep, that was the problem. And then this is the other one. Here's the last one. I'll put it right there. Dun, dun, dun. I like to press them with my soda press just to make sure they get on there really good. It also wipes off my fingerprints from touching them. There we go. There's a little bit of excess glue, but it dries clear, so no worries. So what did you guys think? Was that super fun or what? Look at that. Oh my goodness. The beauty of that. I mean, that really is pretty amazing. The whole thing. The stamps, the stenciling, the everything. So, Meg's Gnomes look like this. There's all of these. And lots of sentiments. Have a gnome-tastic summer. Make a splash. Gone Fishing, Cowabunga Dude, and you are mermazing. And there's the little fish, and I thought about them, but I used the big fish. But you could have put the little fish jumping out of the water as well. So you have that option because they're right there. Look at how cute those are. Holy cow. I can't even help myself. And the one die to cut them all is awesome. Awesome sauce. And you get a coupon for the class. So who wants to miss out on that? No way, Jose. And then the stencil that I did, in case you didn't catch that the first go round, is from The Ton, and it's called Beachscape. Beachscape. And there's 5 of them, but they all come in a set. And there is how you find them. www.thetonstamps.com. Now, I do have a couple of things. This is what I'm currently working on. Aren't these cute? So these are going to be my cards for my swap cards. So I'm also working on all the other equipment trucks. And these are ledouxdesigns digital images, construction vehicles. So fun. So when we get finished talking tonight, that is what I will be doing. Every time I hear one die to cut them all, I think of one ring to rule them all. Yes, exactly. I know exactly what you mean. That's funny. I can't remember what movie that was. Was it Lord of the Rings that said that? I love that. I love that saying. I think of it every time too. But I think there was another show that said that one something to rule them all. Oh, I know what it was. It was the brothers, the ones that are trying to bring their dad back. What's that called? Do you remember? Dale, do you remember the name of that movie?
No.
Oh, come on. It's the fairy boys. They're blue and they go on a journey. Onward. It's called Onward. They use it on Onward as well. Yep. Yay. Thank you for hanging out with me, you guys. The new release will be August 1st. I am very excited about it. It has a lot of really cool stuff in it. And there'll be more than just stamps. There'll be, you know, new stencils, new paper, new 3D stuff, new, like, embellies, lots of new stuff coming. So be ready for that on the 1st. And I will see you guys on Tuesday next week if there's something specifically that you want to see colored. I also have any sneak peeks. I also have so I actually have 4 stamp sets coming. So 2 of them will be at ledouxdesigns and 2 of them will be at Paper Playdates. So I don't know if you guys remember, I did the totems, the tiki totems and the tiki drinks at Paper Playdates. And I did 2 more that are coming out within the next week or so. So I'll be demonstrating them. And if they come out before Tuesday, I'll show them to you on Tuesday night. But if you want a sneak peek, I have them colored. I'll put my hand over it. Dun, dun, dun. That's all you get to see. Sorry, it's not much, but it's something. The best I can do for tonight. I love that you guys come and hang out with me. Come back on Tuesday. Take care and make sure that you PM me if you ever have any questions. Love you guys. See you next week. Good night.